The evaluation is the last step of your four-step cycle. You have stated what triggered you to learn, the learning need, and the goal to be achieved in your reflection. You have stated a roadmap with the resources you will use to address what you've learned. You have implemented that roadmap and you linked that with the evidence. In the evaluation, you are now looking back at what did you learn. You are supposed to relate this to the competency standard that you are supposed to address. You're also supposed to look at the behavioral statement that you are addressing. So if it was 2.2, what did you learn in relation to patient counseling? Look at the behavioral statement. Did you learn how to apply active listening skills? Did you learn how to conduct proper counseling? Did you learn how to obtain feedback from a counseling session? This is what you state. You're not looking at the what you were providing counseling on, but you're focusing on the skills that you needed to learn to ensure you counsel patients accordingly. In this evaluation, you're supposed to remember what was your goal in your reflection. This then should guide you on what to include in this. In stating what you've learned, you start by saying, I learned, I am now able to, I gained knowledge on, so that your assessor is prompted to know that, oh, this person was including a learning in their evaluation. Next up, you're supposed to state the impact, which answers what are you now able to do after doing 5.3 and applying the law. Can you apply the law in various scenarios? Can you apply the law in dispensing or in compounding? Speak of the skill or the knowledge that you have now gained and are now able to apply in your workplace. Start your sentences by I can now, or I improved knowledge on, and I am now able to, so that the assessor again is prompted and they understand that this person was included an impact on their learning. Next up, you're supposed to include, or you include the application. How did you apply the skills you gained in 6.2 and 5.3 in a different activity other than other than the one that you were discussing in your implementation? If for 5.3 you were dispensing and you were applying the law in dispensing, how did you apply the skills or the laws or other laws in other activities that you then did? In this one, you're supposed to provide an actual example of where you apply the skills that you then gained. You're supposed to state this in a different activity. So if in the implementation, like I said, you were dispensing, how did you then apply, principles of applying ethics in the law and practice in different areas, in pharmacist-initiated therapy, in compounding, in receiving, in issuing medication to other departments? How did you apply the law in this? Or maybe if you were training, how did you apply the skills you gained by training the staff in a different scenario? So include just brief details of this and explain the process that you followed when you were doing the activity. If it was counseling, how did you apply the skills of counseling in a different scenario that needed you to counsel? So you start by saying, I applied the skills I gained here by. Then you include where you then apply this. So just add details briefly. Lastly, you're supposed to state a future learning need. So after having applied the skills in that activity, what is the next area of improvement, or where do you need to improve your skills? Again, think of the behavior statement that you need to address in that particular competency standard. If it's 1.1, do you know how to conduct a public health campaign to a different audience? Do you know how to plan campaigns? Do you know how to include information in a different way? If it's counseling, where do you want to improve? Look at the behavior statements, look at the competency standard, and then state your learning according to that. That should then guide your future learning. So if you're able to clearly state what you've learned, the impact, application, and future learning need, you're going to obtain full marks on your evaluation. So it's important that you are aware of what you are trying to include. Are you stating learning? Are you stating the impact? And then be able to clearly identify that for yourself so that by the time that you submit, you understand exactly what you submitted and you can obtain full marks for this.